Alright, so you know what it is. This is Joker News here speaking. We've been keeping you guys updated with these juicy news, about Tupac, about Snoop Dogg, about Death Row Records. But today we got a topic we're gonna be talking about why Tupac never died. And so in just 5 years of stardom, Tupac Shakur released 4 albums, 3 of which were certified platinum, and acted in 6 films. He was the first rapper to release 2 number 1 albums in the same year, and the first to release a number 1 album while incarcerated. But his impact on American culture in the 1990s is explained less by sales than by the fierce devotion that he inspired. He was a folk hero born into a family of black radicals before becoming the type of controversy clouded celebrity on the lips of politicians and gossip columnists alike. He was a new kind of sex symbol, bringing together tenderness and bruising might. Those delicate eyelashes and F the world tattoo on his upper back. He was the reason a generation took to pairing bandanas with Versace. He is also believed to have been the first artist to go straight from prison, where he was serving time, to the recording booth and to the top of the charts. I give a holla to my sisters on welfare. Tupac cares. If don't nobody else care, he rapped on his track Keep Your Head Up. And from 1993, one of the earliest hits, with the easy swagger of someone convinced of his unrighteousness on weepy singles like Brenda's Got a Baby and Dear Mama. He was an earnest do-gooder, standing with women against misogyny. Yet he was just as believable, making anthems animated by spite, including Hit 'Em Up and Against All Odds, both songs that Shakur recorded in the last year of his life with a menacing edge to his voice as he calls out his enemies by name. That he contained such wild contradictions somehow seemed to attest to his authenticity, his greatest trait as an artist. He died at the age of 25 following a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in 1996. Until last month, nobody had been charged in the murder, despite multiple eyewitnesses, a generation's initiation into the world of conspiracy theories. Entire cottage industry arose to exalt him. 8 platinum albums were released posthumously. His mystique spawned movies, museum expeditions, exhibitions, academic conferences, books, 1 volume reprinted, flirtatious, occasionally erotic letters he'd mailed to a woman while incarcerated. There appears to be no end to the content that he left behind, and it has been easy to make him seem prophetic. Here's a clip from him foretelling Black Lives Matter, and here's one warning of Donald Trump's greed. Every new era gets to ask what might have happened if Shakur had survived. This plenitude is the challenge faced by Tupac Shakur, the authorized biography Crown. Now, a book that the novelist and screenwriter Stacey Robinson began working on nearly a quarter-century ago. She first met Shakur, who attended the same Bay Area high school that she had when he was 17. In the late 90s, at his mother's behest, Robinson began interviewing his friends and family, though the project was soon put on hold. She was asked to return to it a few years ago and was given access to unpublished materials. It's a reverential and exhaustive telling of Shakur's story, leaning heavily on the perspective of his immediate family, featuring pages reproduced from the notebooks he kept in his teens and 20s. Now, the biography's publication follows Dear Mama, the saga of Afeni and Tupac Shakur, a documentary series that premiered on FX in April. Robinson was an executive producer on Dear Mama, which drew on the same archive of estate-approved previously unreleased materials as her book, and the works share a common purpose: to complicate Shakur without demystifying him. She begins as the artist himself would have preferred it. With his mother, Afeni Shakur was born Alice Faye Williams on January 10, 1947, in Lumberton, North Carolina, about 12 years later. Now, she moved to the South Bronx. Williams was academically gifted and attended the High School of Performing Arts in Manhattan, though she felt out of place among her more affluent classmates and eventually dropped out. In the late 60s, she became interested in Black history and the Afrocentric thinking. Now, she took the Yoruba name Afeni and joined a local chapter of the Black Panthers. Now, in 1968, she married Lumumba Shakur and into a family of political radicals. Now, his father, Saladin Shakur, was a revolutionary leader who'd worked closely with Malcolm X. Now, the Shakurs were such a force that others in their circle adopted their surname as a mark of allegiance. Now, in April 1969, prosecutors charged her and 20 other Black Panthers with participating in a plot to kill policemen and to bomb police stations and other public places throughout the city. Now, the police relied on undercover informants, one of whom, Finney, had long suspected. As Robinson writes, this was the beginning of what would become a lifelong trust nobody's mentality. Now, the defendants became known as the Panther 21. Supporters raised enough money to get Finney out on bail because I was articulate. They felt that I would be able to help them get out if I got out first. Now, she recalled when the case went to trial in 1970, Finney, who was pregnant, defended herself and supported her comrades from the stand. She was clever, charismatic, and relentless in the courtroom, helping her fellow Panthers gain acquittal in May 1971. Now, the journalist Murray Kempton, who covered the trial, wrote the Finney spoke as though she were bearing a prince. Now, her trust, nobody mentality was encoded into Tupac Shakur's very identity. He was born Lasagne Parish, Crooks in East Harlem in June 1971. And Robinson explains that the name, borrowed from Finney's cellmate, Carol Crooks, was meant to protect him from being seen as Panther Baby. Meanwhile, Finney's marriage collapsed when Lumumba learned that she had been seeing other men. Now, Tupac's biological father, whose identity would remain a mystery for years, was a man named Billy Garland. Now, from the beginning, Finney saw her son, whom she would rename Tupac Amaru, for the Peruvian revolutionary, was a soldier in exile. Now, Robinson depicts her as a devoted and at times demanding mother. She enrolled him at a progressive preschool in Greenwich Village, but withdrew him after she came to pick him up and saw him standing on a table dancing like James Brown. Now, education is what my son is here for, not to entertain you all. She told his teacher later that night, as she spanked her son, she reminded him, you are an independent black man, Tupac. Now, in 1975, Finney married an adopted member of the Shakur clan. Now, the revolutionary Mutula Shakur, with whom she had a daughter, Sekia, despite gestures toward a conventional life, Finney couldn't shake her experiences in the 60s, especially her sense of mistrust and vulnerability. She split from Mutula in the early 80s and moved with Tupac and Sekia to Baltimore, where she struggled with an addiction and a larger sense of disillusionment. It was a war and we lost. She later explained, your side lost means that your point lost, that the point that won was that other point. Now, Shakur sometimes felt that his mother cared about the people more than her people. He attended the Baltimore School for the Arts with the hope of becoming an actor and fell in with an artsy crowd that included Jada Pinkett. Robinson sees this as a period of self-discovery. He was into poetry and wore black nail polish, recruited classmates for the local chapter of the Young Communist League, and obsessively listened to Don McLean's Vincent, a feathery tribute to the misunderstood genius of Van Gogh, who had suffered for his sanity. This world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Now, just before his senior year of high school, Tupac and Finney moved to California, who had gone to live with family and friends just north of San Francisco, where they would be closer to Sekia as well, his sister. Now, he taught us a lot more about Malcolm X and Mandela, a local DJ recalled, and we taught him a lot about the streets. Now, Shakur eventually befriended members of Digital Underground, an Oakland hip-hop group that took inspiration from the energy and the eclecticism of 70s funk. He worked primarily as a dancer before earning a guest verse on Digital Underground's 1991 hit Same Song. Now, in the early 90s, making it through hip-hop's hyper-competitive gauntlet didn't guarantee stability. Robinson writes that Shakur considered leaving music for a career in political organizing. His modest local fame got him a record deal, but it didn't insulate him from the troubles facing most young black males. Now, in October 1991, he was stopped by the police for jaywalking in downtown Oakland after a brief argument in which the officers made light of his name. Now, the rapper was put in a chokehold, slammed against the pavement, and then charged with resisting arrest. He sued the city of Oakland, settling out of court But on that November, he released his debut album, Tupacalypse Now, drawing on the slow-rolling synthesizer-driven funk of the West Coast. His political convictions gave shape to his anger. There was a brightness to his voice which made tales of police brutality, such as Trapped, Too Many Brothers Daily Headed for the Big Pen, seem like an opportunity to organize, not a reason for resignation. Now, Tupacalypse Now gained notoriety when Vice President Don Quell demanded that the rapper's record label recall it after a self-professed Tupac fan shot a state trooper in Texas. Now, among aficionados, meanwhile, Shakur became better known for Brenda's Got a Baby, which he wrote after reading a newspaper with a story about a 12-year-old black girl who put her newborn down a trash chute. Now, Shakur avoids judgment, instead pointing at larger forces at play. It's sad because I bet Brenda doesn't even know just because you're in the ghetto doesn't mean you can't grow. And so, this is just all some recent news right here. But hit that like and subscribe. Let me know where you're all from. I'm going to keep you updated with these juicy news.